Hello everybody, it's Paul with reporting live from my sofa, and as you can see, I am on another field trip out in the woods because it is the first day in several days that it has not been monsooning biblical proportions here in North Carolina. So I'm going to continue on my clearing project. And I wanted to take a minute to talk about, as you see from the title, the Mistress-Nicole Kessinger. Several people dropped some comments, and thank you for all the comments. I did not expect this many people to discuss and all this to happen, and I am loving it. Several people asked me to look into that. A couple of people emailed me, so I was like, let me go ahead and just look at that aspect of this. And I did, and it's totally cringeworthy. It's just another layer in this case that I'm just like, oh my God. Like, it just doesn't end. I mean, I see why this blew up. I mean, like, where it just became this huge thing. So we're going to dive right into it and talk about her. So what I want to do is I'm going to be talking about mainly just a few key things that stuck out to me. So, and I'm going to try, because there's so many different things about each of these people that you could go into. And yeah, the case is over. This done with. We have a resolution, if you will. And again, I'm very fascinated by the psychology of it. So that's why I'll kind of hone in on certain aspects. Absolutely, if you have more to add to this, drop some comments down below, because I love the interaction. I love hearing about different aspects, and when something kind of surfaces up that everybody's talking about, like especially for this case because it's done with, then that makes me say, oh, well, let me go look at this aspect of it. So that being said, let's jump into it. So Nicole Kessinger, the mistress of the case. A lot of this video is just going to be focused in on her interview with, and we're going to call it the phone interview. No, not that one. Where she goes in and she's being interrogated and she's like giving them her phone to download, and that's like the whole thing during the interview. We'll call it the phone exchange. Interrogation, and then her actual being on the phone interview or interrogation. So some key things that jumped out to me. So I went into that, and I guess I didn't know what to expect, but I went into it thinking, oh, this is going to be some real put together person, yada, yada, yada. I mean, I guess like at the bottom, the low expectation was, they can speak well or something. I don't know why I thought that. I don't know what I was expecting. Anyways, I mean, as y'all know, I was just like, oh my God. I mean, it was painful to watch. So the first one I watched was the phone exchange interrogation. And let's just talk about her behavior during that. I mean, she was slouched in her chair. She just came off like this sullen, angsty, edgy teenager that like the world doesn't understand. And I just found it so off-putting. I was just like, oh my gosh. When the victim's right advocate, or I don't know her proper title, but the woman came into the room. I mean, NK, we're going to call her NK. NK turned it up even more and was just more, woe is me, I'm Eeyore. And I'm not trying to discount, I'm sure I would think it would be shocking that take anything out of it, that she's a homewrecker, all that type of stuff. If you are close to a human being that slays their whole family, it's going to be shocking. So I'm like, okay, I can understand that. But when you're kind of part of the issue, it's just like, okay. So anyway, she's just not holding herself up well. And so this is my overall opinion. I think that everything coming from her, deleting the text, the behavior, interaction with the cops, the whole 9 yards, and we're going to get to that more because that really just ran all over me, is all coming from a place of guilt. And I think that with her particular aspect of this, and the people watching it, here in the arena, it's what kind of guilt is it? I think that's the question, because I think there's a lot of people that are like, oh, she had her hands around those kids' neck, or, literally, or she was in on it with Chris, or, just so many different things. And so, but at the end of the day, I'm just like, yeah, she is operating from a place of guilt, and it is difficult to tell, and I do believe that the interrogator, excuse me, I mean, he kind of let her know that in so many ways. So So her physical demeanor, all that, it's very slouchy, it's very victim-y, it's very, pay attention to me. And so the guilt part of it, I think that, the things that make her look guilty, the whole thing. I think that she knew about that family. I think she knew about Shanann. I think she knew about the kids. How much is true that he lied to her? I have no doubt that he lied to her. Obviously, this guy's not, an upstanding person. But how much of that she's making up, who knows? I don't think that she physically helped kill this family at all. I think if she did, the cops would have her in jail because I personally think that the interrogators couldn't stand her. I think that she's a dime a dozen in their world and that they could see right through her and that they were trying to figure out, okay, is this just, a not so great person, or is this a not so great person that has assisted a murder? I think that was their objective. I think that's why they pandered to her attention for need or need for attention, and just the whole thing. And she was being cooperative, and obviously it is a police officer's job during these situations to just go with that because they're making everyone's job easy at that point. And by sure, I'll bring my phone and sure, I'll do this, whatever. The constant changing up of things and whatnot. So yeah. So let's just focus in on the phone exchange interview. So yes, her demeanor's bad. Da, 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 da. So when the cop is sitting there, the interrogator, and he is, he's questioning her, and do you have anything else? Well, yeah, I've got this, and she would come up with another thing. She was so desperately, and obviously there's going to be information that she has to offer, but I just felt like he did a lot of padding to try and get to the answer of, why did you delete these text messages and what was in there, and we're getting ready to find out, kind of buttering her up to see if she threw herself under the bus. Because everything looked really odd. It's like, yeah, why did you delete these text messages? Why were all these phone calls coming in after presumably the time that he just killed his wife? All this stuff. So, and maybe nobody will really ever know. I don't know. But one thing that really stuck out to me as well in that interview, as well as on the phone interview. So multiple times, she real passive aggressively makes a comment like, well, I told my boss that I didn't break any laws. I haven't done anything. And it's like she is so hardcore trying to get the police officers to be like, no, you're fine. You're fine. You're not being charged. And he did tell her at that time, like, you're not being charged with anything. That's not criminal, but you could tell, what's he going to do? Say, yeah, we're charging you with all this stuff. You can go home and abscond and, hit the road and we'll never find you. Of course not. But she so much wanted to know that. And that's another reason why I'm just like, she feels guilty, literally she's just like, she feels guilty. And it's like, okay, did I do something wrong here? Morally, yeah, obviously. Now I'm curious what you all think because again, a lot of y'all are way more versed in this. And so what I end up doing is going and looking at some of the stuff and I have like a pretty extreme reaction to it. And then I'm like, well, let me go make a video on, A, B, or C. So like right now, I'm really just focusing on those two things. So if y'all are like, oh, go check this out, please let me know. Excuse me. So her whole thing of I deleted the text messages, again, it's coming from a guilty place, because it's just like, oh my God, what am I involved with, or I don't want people to see it. The logical brain would tell somebody, obviously, you can delete your texts, they're going to find them, because they're probably on his phone. But I honestly, I don't know. I could see her probably being like, no, I deleted it on my phone, it's gone forever, at first. But it's shady. There's just that level of shadiness. And so let me see what else in that interview. There's that. Okay, so when the victim's right advocate, I think that was her title, comes in, she really kicks up the thing even more. And sorry, the wind's blowing, it's getting cold. she just kicks it into high gear. And when I watched the video, I didn't know that that was like a victim's right person. I mean, I got the sense that it was like, okay, this lady's here to kind of help her and whatnot, and she's walking her through the job thing. But I mean, it's just, she sounds, you know what she reminds me of? Is a kid playing sick to stay home. Like that, I don't feel good, Mom. And you know they just want to stay home, and so you play it, pander to them. That's exactly what that reminds me of. That's exactly what her behavior during the whole thing reminded me of. So, you know, she was so obsessed with her job. And I personally think that either she was, and I mean, a logical person. If you were like, look, all I ended up doing was I got with a married man. I know it's not cool, you know, but I'm on my way. I would 100% be like, yeah, I'm out of this town. I mean, like, changing my name the whole 9 yards. And as we see, she was asking the interrogator that, and eventually he just kind of gets to the point of like, you're going to have to, I can help you out a little bit, but you know, and I think he does say, you're a grown adult that made decisions. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, you're a homewrecker, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is what happens with that kind of stuff. So, yeah, so to me, her behavior is just coming from a guilty place. I think that she knew about Shanann, she knew about the girls, she knew about everything. If she believed that, oh no, well, you know, she's like, oh, I wasn't really that into him, and it wasn't that serious, and I didn't know if I wanted to be with him, and the whole 9 yards, I'm just kind of like, I mean, I don't know if I buy that. I think that, to be quite honest, because when they were talking about her Google searches, which, oh my gosh, how embarrassing is that? I mean, it was just like she was gonna lasso this guy, and she knew just how she was gonna do it. But I digress. Her Google searches and whatnot, just the whole thing. I'm like, I think she was a little bit more into it than she was willing to tell the police. I mean, I truly think she was like, I'm gonna get this guy, and I'm gonna steal him away, and it ended up really backfiring. And so I'm like, yeah, she should feel guilty. She should feel like a horrible person. Do I think that Chris would have done that with anybody else at some point? Absolutely. I think all the dynamics were there for her and him to, obviously they worked together, so it clicked. I think on her part, there's a sense of, I mean, because if you look at it like just like take all the heinous crime that came from it, it's just an affair. It's a naughty thing, you know. Oh, you're sleeping with your coworker who's married. I mean, that's like a naughty thing. You know, clearly this was a pretty sexual girl, and she, you know, was kind of into it. So I'm like, this could be like a fantasy of hers. I think that the naughtiness of it, I don't know why I keep doing that, was probably attractive to her. And again, I mean, do I think it's the only married man she's ever been with? Probably not. I mean, it might be a thing for her. So anyways, this video is starting to get long. And I just have so many thoughts. I just want to kind of use this as a jumping point to hopefully get a conversation going about it. And again, if there's other aspects that y'all are like, oh, go look at this with her. Because to me, there's a bunch of layers with her that I'm just like, oh, yeah, this one's... I mean, there's a bunch of layers with everybody in this. But I just think that her role in it is really complicated and real blurry. Because I just think that... it's blurry, and that's the best way to say it. Anyways, I love all the support that I'm getting. Thank you guys so much. I truly did not expect everyone to interact this much, and I'm absolutely loving it. I'm loving hearing from people all over the world. So I'm going to be looking into some other, you know, true crime stuff. If y'all have certain ones that you want me to look into, absolutely drop a note and tell me. Excuse me, because I would love to. I have my favorites list that I've gone over: the Staircase, Manson, all those, you know, the older cases that I want to get into and make videos on. But I also want to look into some more recent ones. There's actually one going on right now. The jury's out. I can't remember her name. Sarah Stern, I believe. I'm going to try and do a video on his confession tape in that one because my mouth hit the floor when I watched it. So anyways, guys, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I hope y'all have a great day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.